All right, so Gunner, let's dig into this thing, okay? Because this is a massive, massive deal. So, 179.304 million in total guarantees, including 110 million fully guaranteed at signing and 126.5 million fully guaranteed by March of 24. I mean, so in less than a year's time. Right. Think about this for a minute. And Barry, you got us now. You good? You all good?
I think I'm good now.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can hear us. Okay.
So within a year from that, less than a year, 11 months, in fact, from now, he will have 126.5 million fully guaranteed. And as I mentioned, it's the first no trade clause in Eagles history. Look, they said they were going to pay him, and the Eagles paid him. It is unbelievable. That's a big contract.
We've always known Howie Roseman has never been shy about identifying players that they want to stay with this team long term and paying them top dollar. You know, Howie has never been cheap about paying his players in any way, shape, or form. We knew this deal was coming. It was just a matter of length. I believe it was more so length than it was money, you know. And so I'm not surprised the deal got done. I'm glad it got done before the draft so we can, you know, eventually we can put this behind us and just focus on the upcoming draft and so on and so forth. But Howie put him right in the middle of where he should be, one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks paid. Now that this is done, I can't wait to see what Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson are going to get because they're sitting there salivating right now. Hey, look, I woke up this morning just feeling good that I'm upright and breathing. Jalen Hurts woke up $255 million richer.
Yeah. It is pretty wild, man. It's if you look at it, the only person who's ever gotten more guaranteed money would be Deshaun, right? Deshaun Watson.
Right.
But it is a massive, massive commitment to a guy who had a monster year last year, right? A massive, massive commitment to this guy.
Woo!
Barry, you want to jump in? We got you.
I love I love the fact that, you know, it wasn't anything from either party, from Jalen Hurts or the Eagles organization, talking about contract negotiations going slow or where they were in the negotiations. In fact, we made more of a big deal about it than they did. You know, at no point did, you know, we think that the deal wasn't going to get done. We knew the deal was going to get done because, number one, we've dealt with Howard before. We know Howard, but we also know Jalen Hurts and what he, you know, he's for the good of the team, but he also understands that you got a small amount of time to maximize your money-making potential. So is this a team-friendly deal? I don't know. I don't know how these numbers are gonna project towards yearly payments or how they're gonna, you know, go about paying other free agents. Because I mean, even, you know, just a little thing, you know, all these rumors with Buda Baker and Buda Baker this, you know, what do we want to bring him to the Eagles? You know, now they can finally think about those type of things if they wanted to bring a guy like him coming in. And if they were to bring in a Buda Baker at the safety position, you'd be talking about the Eagles going back to another Super Bowl. You know, I think it would kind of put them in a position where they will be the leader in the NFC with the caliber player that he is coming on our defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like where the Eagles are at this point.
Oh, to answer your question about is this a friendly deal? According to Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, Hurts will make $64 million through the first new year of the deal in 2024, giving the team more cap flexibility the next 2 seasons before his cap hits jump. So according to those two, yes, the next 2 seasons are cap friendly, which will allow them a lot of flexibility to keep bringing in the type of players they brought in last year, this year, and next season as well.
Yeah. It's look, Howie doesn't do deals where he doesn't have some wiggle room. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is getting shorted here. Clearly he's not, but he doesn't do things. Look, you represent the organization, right? You have to take care of the organization. You have to be able to make moves to make the team better, not just take care of Jalen Hurts. So I guarantee you the way that this is structured, that you know, Howie and the Eagles will have the ability to do some things. Absolutely.
They made the mistake once with Carson. They miscalculated
Yeah.
In terms of not so much the money, but in terms of the character behind the person, as we would find out going down the road. In this case, from everybody I've talked to in the organization, they've done their homework on this guy. They understand he comes from a solid family. Look at the way he presents himself daily, win, lose, or draw, in front of the cameras. You don't have to worry about him stepping outside of character and doing something that the organization has to scramble for and put out memos based on the fact that he's doing something he should be doing. Mm-hmm. He is exactly what Jeffrey Lurie wants his organization to stand for in the community and throughout the NFL, in terms of being an upright, upholding citizen, as well as an exceptional athlete. So when you look at the people involved, especially Dom does his homework on players better than anybody in the league. They have done everything they have to do in terms of crossing the T's and dotting the I's before they arrived at this decision. They knew way before this past season was over that this was coming. This contract was coming because they were sure beyond a shadow of a doubt that investing in this young man long-term is for the betterment of this organization. That organization is elated right now. It's a lot of money to us, but it's the market value today for a quarterback in the NFL.
It's also some affirmation of taking a guy in the second round when they took a lot of heat for it and what he's turned out to be. I think there is a piece of that too. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing with Carson it was injuries and it was here. And, you can't account for injuries, but you can account for a guy's drive, his ability to overcome. Jalen's been doing this his whole life. So there's going to be ups and downs, but he can handle the ups and downs. Carson couldn't handle the ups and downs.
You're absolutely right. And the biggest thing, when you look at Jalen Hurts, he's not only the face of the franchise, the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not just what he brings, that spirit he brings to the Eagles organization. I'm not talking about how he can, calm guys down, even though things are, all hell is breaking loose around him. It's not like, the head coach can look at him and calm everything down too. If he gets over, you never see him sweat. He's not going to embarrass the organization, but he can also be the face of the NFL. And that's the biggest thing. Just like right now, you look at it, Patrick Mahomes is what you would call the face of the NFL. Jalen Hurts can take that same leap into being the face of the NFL, and he's only going to get better as a player. He only scratched the surface of what he could be in this offense. He's going to refine the offense even more. He's going to open up the offense even more as he progresses and, going in and doing his due diligence of a hardworking guy and learning the offense, especially this, this DJ offense, as they go forward, man. So I can't wait, man. DJ's got a lot going in store. The offensive coordinator. So I mean, this is big to me because he's not just for the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's for also the entire NFL. He could be the face of the entire NFL, man.
Yeah, look, and it's hard to find these guys. We know it.
Definitely,
we've seen this. You've lived it. It's why we're talking about the first 4 picks in the draft may all be quarterbacks. Everybody wants what the Eagles have right now. And this is the cost of doing business. They had a luxury last year where he wasn't being paid much. And to Howie's credit, he tried to do everything he could. They came up slightly short. But it's still a darn good team. And I don't see the Eagles going into this thing where they have no flexibility or no maneuverability. I guarantee you the way that this is set up, they'll still be able to do some things. So this was an inevitability. And we talked about, is the draft a sort of in the sand, a line in the sand deadline? They got it done, what are we, 10 days now? 10 days before the draft comes down.
Yep.
They got it over with. So you can put that aside and worry about everything else about getting your team better. And you know that this guy's going to be first in and last out. As Derek said, he's never going to misrepresent the organization in a bad way. You don't have to worry about that miscellaneous nonsense.
Right.
It's just about getting better as a football player. That's all.
Well, we know that that goes without saying. Like he's one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. I mean, he's the only person I know that doesn't take really. He takes vacation. He has time to himself, but he's a gym rat, man. When do you find a gym rat that plays to the level that he plays at? You know, usually you lose that when you get to a certain point. He hasn't lost. In fact, he's gotten worse. You know, when you look for Jalen Hurts, more than likely he's probably at the Nova Care Center right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's probably there right now.
Yeah. He's not out buying a car right now. I guarantee he's working on his game right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you look at those type of deals, you know, it's great. It's great having the knowledge that, you know, we have a guy that's going to not be someone that, you know, is going to embarrass the organization. He is nothing but the consummate pro, man. And I love that, you know, he's getting rewarded for, you know, all the hard work, you know, not just in the NFL, not the last 3 years, but I'm talking about even in college, you know what I'm saying? Oklahoma, you know, going back to Alabama, even to high school. You know what I'm saying? He knew that he had to work for it, and he worked for it, and he's blessed to be accomplishing it right now, man. It's definitely a blessing for him.
So a couple of questions for you guys. Although when he finally took over as the starter that first year, they got to the playoffs for sure. But he was taking over, you know, a team that the year before under Doug, things went south, and it was your first year coach, and, you know, a lot to deal with. First year coordinator in Steichen, which he had become accustomed to, having different coordinators every single year dating back to high school. That second year as a full-time starter, he took a massive leap. Are you a little nervous that we haven't seen enough to make this kind of commitment? Are you a little bit nervous about that?
No, absolutely not. I think we've seen enough. And the playbook is going to evolve even more so. You know, when he took over, it was a very limited playbook because they were getting to know him. He was still getting to know them. They'd go back and forth and say, okay, what do you like in the offense? What don't you like in the offense? And let's face it, first year he took over was a patchwork team for the most part. They didn't have the complement of players to make him the player that he emerged to be in 2022. They had the full offseason of 22 to work with him. He put in the work on his own. Then he expanded the playbook. The playbook evolved. They made variations to the playbook to play to his strengths well. Everything fell into place. When you get an A.J. Brown to go along with the Devontae Smith and you have one of the best tight ends in the game, arguably the best offensive line in the game, and a trio of running backs that they had, they were ahead of the curve in terms of surrounding him with the talent they needed when they decided this offense was going to take off in 2022. And he did nothing to disappoint in that regard. We've already heard Sirianni say there's even more evolution coming to the offense. When he talked about that scrum play, he said, we got variations on that play you haven't seen yet. So if that is how much our playbook, every NFL coach, especially with a young quarterback, doesn't show you the entire playbook the first 1 or 2 years that they're under center. That playbook continues to evolve. Most of those playbooks are like the old yellow pages we used to get in the mail every year, you know, before they did away with the yellow pages. Some of these coaches in their playbooks are ridiculous. Oh, my goodness. It's ridiculous. And I'm sure Barrett can tell you, if you stay with the team long enough, every year there's something new added, new twist and turn added to that playbook. I can't wait to see what year 3 brings for this young man.
Well, yeah, look at the weapons that he has, you know, right now. He's got 2,000-yard receivers. He's got a tight end that's going to break loose. He himself is starting to progress, you know, in the offense and how they're approaching it. He now has, BJ being, you know, BJ is going to be a great, you know, addition to, a great addition to what they want to do as far as having a quarterback that can, you know, have all 3 phases. And when I say 3 phases, passing, running, and decision-making, to run both of them at the same time. You know, you usually don't get that. Either you're a passer or you're a runner, but he can do all 3 phases. So that's why he's got 3 phases to his game that he can beat you with, because his decision-making alone on running read options and running RPOs really puts predicaments on defenses, you know, that they can't really adjust to it, because, all right, even when you know you're right, he makes you wrong by his ability to read and evaluate what's going on and what the defense is trying to do to him. And that's what makes him, that's why they're paying him, not just because his arm, not just because his legs, but how he commands the offense, how he commands that locker room, how he commands the respect of the defensive coordinators in the NFL on how they're going to try to contain him. You know, usually you're going to take, all right, you're going to have to beat us with your legs, or you're going to have to beat us with your arm. he can do both well. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the biggest difference between him and Lamar. Lamar is not as refined a passer as Jalen Hurts is. You know what I'm saying? Not to say he can't, but he's not as refined as Jalen Hurts is as a pass. He can go out there and beat you for 300 yards in the air, but he can also go out there and beat you for 100 yards on the ground. And every phase of a game, he's tied into. Like when you want to run 4-minute offense. 4-minute offense is when you run where at the end of the games, you're trying to run the clock out. He's integral in that. Usually you just hand the ball off to the running back, he runs. But he still makes you think, all right, is he going to hand it off? Is he going to throw it? Or if it's 3rd down, 3rd and 10, him getting it to the wide open receiver, evaluating the defense, breaking down the defense, knowing where the ball is supposed to go, and his decision-making in that way. See, he's totally involved in every facet of the game when it comes to how a quarterback can engineer an offense to beat a defense, man. And that, you don't get that a lot of the times. Yeah. You don't get it from a lot of quarterbacks.
Well said. I think the other part that's fascinating, this is 5 years, so he's not even 30 when this thing ends.
What's 24, 25 right now?
Yeah. I mean, he's right at that 30 range, which you can look at it two ways. If you're him, you could get another massive contract again, if things keep going well. And if you're the Eagles, worst case scenario, if this thing doesn't go as you thought it was going to go, okay, I mean, you're not tied to this forever. Mahomes got 10 years. I know a lot of the back end of that is not guaranteed, so it's kind of funny money a little bit with the way NFL contracts work. But this is, I actually don't mind this. You're not wed to each other forever. It's a 5-year thing. You're showing a big commitment to him with the no trade, clearly all the guaranteed money and whatnot. But
let's discuss that no trade clause.
Yeah.
The first time the Eagles have given a no trade clause, that just goes to show you the amount of respect that Jalen Hurts and what his and what his agent put into the contract. That means he has control of that. Howie doesn't like to give that type of control out, man. He's not just going to give that type of control out. But the mere fact that they trust him enough to do that, it just goes to show the amount of respect that he has for Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A no trade clause. That's unheard of for the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, because they've done their homework on him in terms of what they want, in terms of the face of their franchise. He is the top of the top. When you think about how many contracts they've negotiated, how many high price, high name athletes they've brought through this organization, the fact that this is the first time they've ever given a young man 24 years of age. Think about it, 24. You're still out there in a lot of ways. Most 24s are out there. They're hanging out there doing things. How many times we talk about on this very show about things players are doing that they shouldn't be doing, whether it's in bars, whether it's getting in certain type of situations you don't want your players to be in. You're never going to hear. You haven't heard that about Jalen up to this point. That's worth X amount of millions in itself. When you think about it,
no question.
You sit across from this young man every day in the NovaCare complex. Howie Roseman likes to get to know his players. Howie's had endless conversations with him as a person as well as an athlete. Mm-hmm. The coaching staff has to be in unison in terms of, okay, if we do this, is this the right move? Absolutely. When you look at what he's done, his body of work, both as a person and as a player, and you make this kind of commitment to him at 24 years of age, that means everybody in that building is satisfied that he's exactly what we have. What we have in him right now is what we didn't have before him.
Yeah. I mean, you're not giving 179.304 in guarantees, including 110 million fully guaranteed at signing, if you don't believe in this guy. I think he gives you the best of both worlds. You don't have to worry about the immature. He's very unlike. I'll speak for myself. 24. I was incredibly immature. He's
absolutely.
He's light years ahead of his age, and that has to factor into all of this. If you're the Eagles, ultimately you got to be able to play. But you also have to understand what kind of character this guy has, and to be able to back him like this. Look, I think both sides. You never heard a peep out of Jalen or his agent.
Nope.
Right? You never heard any of that crap. The Eagles told you we're up front from the jump. Yeah, we want to get him signed. We'll get him signed. Howie, like you said, Barrett, Howie, and Jeffrey never said anything other than that. We'll get this done. Don't worry about it. The only speculation came from the outside.
We would only want to speculate anything.
Yeah, both of these parties knew from Jump Street. It'll get done. Like, don't worry. Everything will be taken care of. And boom, here we are.
Now, I will say this later, whether it's later this year or next year, the real numbers will come out. The $255 million looks good on paper. That's for the agent stuff. I want to know what the actual contract is, because I got a text saying, don't believe all the numbers you're seeing.
Right.
Now, obviously, there's a big chunk of that money that is guaranteed. I'm not going to say the 179 is not guaranteed, but the total value of the contract, $255 million, may be somewhat of an illusion in terms of what the actual value is. But all contracts are in the NFL.
Right.
That's no big, but it's great talking points for us. When you
yeah,
look
that's
at
all it is. Talking points for us.
There's great talking points for what we do and everybody else's platform. But when you look at, according to Spot Track, he is right now in terms of guaranteed money, number 3 in the pecking order, I believe it is.
Yeah.
From what I saw from Spot Track earlier, a short while ago. And, Spot Track is pretty dead on when it comes to this stuff. So according to Spot Track here, in terms of most practical guarantees in NFL history, Deshaun Watson, number 1, $230 million. Kyler Murray, 189.5. Jalen Hurts, 179.3. Russell Wilson, 161. Aaron Rodgers, 150.8. So those are the top 5.
Right. And we know how this works, right? So this is Jalen got his, and good for him that he and his agent didn't say, hey, we got to wait for Lamar. We got to wait for Joe Burrow. We got to wait for whatever. They just got it done. So we know when Burrow signs, likely it's going to be more than this. Who cares? Whatever.
Who cares?
I mean, that's just the way it goes. We all know that.
That's why Howie did it before. He
Yeah.
did it before because he wants to get Jalen Hurts right around or under fair market value. That's the way he works. That's why he's getting paid the big buck. That's why the owner trusts him. Lurie's not a fool. The Eagles organization aren't fools. They understand they're here to make money. They also don't want to overpay a guy. But they also knew they had to reward a guy also for being who he is and what he means to this organization.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily all the time about, all right, look how much he got. He should have got that. No, they're getting him under fair market value, because this contract probably the next 2 years he'll be getting way underpaid. Within the next 2 years, the way the cap is going up, the way players getting played, quarterbacks getting paid, he'll be well below fair market value 2 years from now.
Yeah, and the cap's just going to go up. The cap's just going to go. We know that.
So he's just not. It's not going to be as though when he signed it right here and now. This is a great contract. A great contract.
Yeah.
3 to 4 years of this contract. And that's why I said last week, a young quarterback at 24 doesn't want to sign a 10-year deal. Why would you?
Right.
The back end of that contract is obsolete. That man will be 28, 20. He may go back to the table again in less than 4 years. Think about that.
Absolutely.
When that new TV money kicks in,
absolutely.
We keep talking about this new TV money. This new TV money is going to reset the entire market for paying. Quarterbacks will be at the top of the list still, but defensive ends get paid. D tackles get paid. Your blindside tackles in football get paid. The numbers are going to be astronomical in terms of what these players. If Javon Hargrave is worth $84 million now, playing the way he plays, or an Aaron Donald's worth what he's now, can you imagine who the next Aaron Donald, Javon Hargrave is getting paid in about 3 to 4 years?
Oh, guys, what if Jalen Hurts gets us back to a Super Bowl and wins a Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man! If he gets us back to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, imagine he'll be well underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it happens next year, he'll be well underpaid if he makes that happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's all these what ifs about. Yes, you're right. But as far as numbers, you look at the numbers he's getting. Yes, it's this is supposed to be the richest contract of any NFL football player.
Right.
Sound good to me, man. You know what I'm saying? It's right around what, $51 million a year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that we're talking about quarterback? This isn't baseball.
I know.
And
this kind of guaranteed money was unheard of.
Right.
Absolutely unheard of. Yeah.
This isn't baseball. This is
we said it's going to be 50-ish. That's what we said. You might get him a little bit under, might get a little over, depending on signing bonuses and all that kind of stuff. It's right around the number that we've been speculating since the Super Bowl ended. Really, even during the regular season. It's right at that number.
Absolutely.
That's what elite quarterbacks get now. And that's where he is. He's in that He's in every category. I'm not saying he's Mahomes. Nobody's Mahomes, but he's in the conversation with all the rest of those guys after Mahomes.
To be honest with you, Mahomes is underpaid right now.
Yeah, that's no question. I was about to say that. You hit it right on the head.
Yes.
He is grossly underpaid.
Yes.
He just won a Super Bowl, man. He's got 2 Super Bowls.
He's won 2 in the last 3 years.
Right. So, he's grossly underpaid for what he brings to the table. You know what I'm saying? And then when people say, all right, well, he's not Mahomes. There's only one Mahomes.
Exactly.
But also Mahomes is not Jalen Hurts.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's all on what your flavor is. I would love a Patrick Mahomes, but I would also love a Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
So I see people talk about the differences, and what I'm saying, like I was just, for instance, I'm looking at the stream. And Niners all day. He's always saying something, man. But he's saying that you don't qualify to be on the Madden game unless you have 25 touchdowns, throwing touchdowns.
Whatever.
Right. It has nothing to do with the price.
Wait, who said that?
Niners all day.
Same dude that's squawking every day, man.
Yeah,
you gotta love it though, man. I love his because he's always here front and center, man.
Sure,
he's always
but
here front and center.
Again, that's the cherry picking nonsense troll way of going about things, where you don't recognize the rushing touchdowns. I don't care how you score them. Yep. If you run them or throw them, it's how many have you scored last time I checked. Is there an asterisk next to running touchdowns if the quarterback sneaks it in?
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay. That's all.
Also, we have a starting quarterback.
Yes,
we have a starting quarterback.
Yep. Oh, you don't love the Trey Lance, Brock Purdy elbow surgery, Sam Darnold scenario. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Hey, Lamar Jackson won a league MVP for his running ability as much as his arm ability.
35 touchdowns. I'll take that for my quarterback. I don't care how you get it.
I don't care how he does it. I don't care. I don't care if he's also kicking extra points.
Same.
If he's putting points on the board,
just score.
And he doesn't turn the ball over. He takes care of the football.
He does.
Okay, more so than he turns it over. Yep. Okay, he had the fluke in the Super Bowl, dropped the ball. Okay, that's not it happens. Yeah. It's human nature. These things happen. But for the most part, you look at his success ratio compared to his flawed ratio, one of the best in the games in terms of, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herberts, Josh Allen, they'll throw double-digit interceptions.
Bro.
How many interceptions did Jalen throw last season?
Jalen threw 6 interceptions.
Okay, 6 interceptions. Okay.
Well, guys, look at this though. I'm sitting back thinking, I mean, this totally changes how I even look at the draft, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost want offense now because my quarterback just got paid. We let's get him some more weapons. Let's get him some more toys, man. I know it's not gonna happen. I'm not.
So you've now converted to Bijan. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, I'm not saying Bijan. I'm not saying Bijan. But I'm saying trade back and maybe getting a tackle or maybe
Skoronski, maybe. Yeah. Well, we will talk about the tackles later. We will. I know. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Jalen today, but we will talk about the tackles later for sure.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, what if I've been hearing some things that, all right, maybe the natural right guard position isn't filled just yet. You know what I'm saying? It may not be filled. And I need D-Gun to do a little research for me if you could, man.
What's that, man?
Is the right guard position really as solidified as we say they are?
You mean Juergens sliding in?
Well, that's why I just said right guards. Is it Juergens right now?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who is it really? So D-Gun has even deeper.
He's going to work
claws down in there than even I do. You know,
I don't know anybody.
Right.
I know nothing.
I talk to players. You know what I'm saying? That's all I talk to is players. But he talks to other people that behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Where
I know nothing.
I can't get behind these doors he gets behind.
Well, according to a lot of people, they don't believe I know anybody. So I don't know anybody.
We know better than that. We know better than that. Don't even try it. No, don't even try it. But no, look, this was the fact that it's done now. You're going to avoid any kind of Lamar Jackson distraction, which has been a disaster in my opinion for Baltimore. You've avoided any of that stuff. Let all those other teams worry about this now. Let the Chargers worry about Herbert. Let the Bengals worry about Burrow. Let Baltimore continue to whatever the heck that plan is there. Eagles are on now. It's on to the draft fully. Like, all right, Jalen's taken care of. You got your quarterback now for the next 5 years. That's locked in and no issues. And guess what? The asking price is about what it is now, $50 million. You get all the guaranteed stuff. I guarantee you, there's money up front where the Eagles aren't going to just be blasted, but you are going to have to be more creative. Last year was a luxury in terms of the cap. Howie's going to have to get more creative. But you know what? If there's one GM / whatever you want to call Howie in the league that I trust to be able to figure it out from a money standpoint, it's him. He's as good as anybody. He and Jake Rosenberg, who's sort of his right-hand man with cap issues. Those guys are better, as good or better than anybody else maybe in the history of doing it. And they learned at the foot of Joe Banner. They know how to maneuver a cap. And I have no question they will be. You just got to get more creative and figure it out. You better hit on your draft picks because they're the cheapness. That's how you sustain this. When you have a quarterback that makes this much, last year's draft better be right. This year's draft better be right because they're not costing you all that money.
Look, MCAS. Buda Baker for pick 30.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm not giving 30 up for Buda Baker.
What?
In a Philly minute.
Up in a minute.
Nope.
You know what? Hey, that's the New England Patriots move right there.
Yep, yeah, it is.
They will give up they will give up that last late pick in the first round to get a player who's proven. That's why that machine was so successful for 15 years. It wasn't about the Patriots draft picks for the most part. It was about how they would use the draft picks to get what they needed to fill holes on that team. I like that. I like that move for Baker. You put him back there. What?
That's a lot.
What do you mean it's a lot?
The 30th pick for a safety? How many safeties coming out of college do you give up that?
How many safeties do you know coming out of college will turn out to be decent pros?
He's good. He doesn't cover well enough for me. He was a second-round pick when he came out.
Look, let me tell you something. You give me Buda Baker, I'll give you that 30 in a minute.
All right. I'm not doing 30 for him. I can get him for less, I think.
What good is a 30 if you take it and drop down in the draft to get middle round picks anyway?
I'm just telling you, I wouldn't give up my 30. I would use my 30 as a bargaining chip to get up.
Man,
get more picks.
No, I'm trying to get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson.
Oh, that's aggressive. That's really aggressive there, bro.
Yeah.
That's being really aggressive. That would have to be it, man. You would have to trade your first and your 30th to get down that low. You would do that. Yeah. Even with us only having even with us not having a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick this year.
Yeah. I would. I mean,
we need to discuss this, man, because this is serious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of draft capital right there.
I know it is. I know. And look, I would be taking a bit of a hit this year. Part of what I would do, guys, is I would try to move some capital for next year because they're going to have tons of picks.
Right, like 12 picks right now.
Yeah, a crazy amount of picks. So I would try to figure something out. I don't know. I mean, look, I would try to make some other deals where I would fill in the middle of the donut a little bit, but I'm going to be super aggressive, man. And I like Buda Baker. Don't get me wrong. I actually saw an interesting tweet from Mark McMillan. Mark McMillan isn't a big fan. I was surprised.
Isn't a big fan of who? Buda Baker?
Yeah.
What does he say?
Okay.
I need to see it.
He doesn't like his coverage skills at all.
All I know is that dude makes plays.
That's not what he is. He's a playmaker and not a coverage guy.
You move him all over the field. He's a chess piece. Yeah. He's not a knight. He's not a pawn. He can move all over the field. Okay. He's not a rook. You play him in a lot of different positions. All he does is make plays. That's all he does. Yeah. And that's what you want. That's what you had in C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Once he figured out the position, you had somebody who makes plays. That's what you want. You put him back there with the dude they got from Pittsburgh and the two corners you have now. Mm-hmm. That's as complete a secondary as you will have in the National Football League.
Well, it feels like, look, if he ends up whatever ends up happening, it feels like it could potentially be a Howie move because these kind of things happen later, and he's not afraid to wait it out. And there always seems to be something. Somebody gets cut, like Bradbury did last year. Somebody's unhappy. You make a trade. None of it would surprise me. Let me put it to you that way. Nothing. Right. Nothing. Because this is what he does. He lives for this stuff. He lives for this stuff. So I think
Barrett, to answer your question,
the
right guard may not be on the roster at this time.
Ooh, okay.
That's what I'm.
That means they're taking Skoronski, brother.
Freaking D-Gun knows. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's why, you know, that's yeah. See what she does. This we got to discuss this. What's the what was that Barrett's question, brothers? Oh, if he was coming out this year, he would still be a top 30 pick. He'd still be a first round pick, I think.
Okay, call that Kobe Dean for people who are wondering. Yeah. Top 30, you think? What'd you say? Top
I think top 30. Yeah, I still think that he would be a top draft pick. You know, he'll be a number 1 draft pick in this draft. Wouldn't you guys say? I think he's, you know, I think that we got a deal of all deals on this. On Dean.
Depending how worried teams really were about his medicals, how real that was.
Right. I got to see him play a full schedule. As much as I love this game in college, I haven't seen this game at this level yet.
I did. Know? I saw some glimpses, man.
Yeah, one game. That one game. That one game. And who were they playing that one game?
Nobody was passing the ball. They were just handing it off to the big fella. Yeah.
Who were they playing?
Titans. Yeah, they're playing the Titans. Okay. Right.
I got to see him play a full season before I go. I love this game at Georgia. I think he has the ability to make that transition to be an exceptional pro player, but I got to see it.
All right. Hey, Coach Thomas just sent me he sent me a text, man, with this picture, man, with this woman walking by, and he's got this other guy's got his girlfriend that's with the Ravens, and then he has Jalen Hurts when the girl walking by. And got Lamar Jackson turn around looking at her. I'm thinking about something. You're right. Think of the ramifications right now that the Ravens are having because of this contract that Jalen is signing. Can you? It's totally mixed up, drawn out, and everything now with this contract. You know what I'm saying?
No question. Yeah. If I'm a Ravens fan, I'm like, why can't, again, I'm speaking from a Ravens perspective. They're saying, why isn't this done? What are we doing? How did Philadelphia get it done before the draft when this dude was entering the last year of his deal?
Right now, the Ravens saying, oh, dang.
And you know what Lamar is saying? Lamar's sitting there saying, oh, he got how much? All right, so we want this much more.
Hey, Coach, that was a good text you just sent me.
Yeah,
I like
it. Hey, Tone. You got to throw up that video I sent you. John Dickerson at his finest again. I saw what he did on Twitter. Rob Ellis, after he heard about the Jalen Hurts contract. Tony, if you can put that video up, please put that video up right now, please. This will make my day because I saw this. I'm dying laughing. I said, only this dude, he is quick, man, coming up with this stuff, man. So I got to give, as much as it pains me to do so, I gotta give John Dickerson his props for this one in particular.
I'm thinking
I sent it to you in a text.
Hey, you know what? Hey guys, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know, I've been reading it, you know, also reading. I mean, when we're talking about getting a guy like Carter, we're talking about getting a guy like Anderson. A number 10 and number 30 picks may still not be enough to get down to 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And in order to get those two, you gotta be at 4 and 5 because Detroit's gonna pick up one guy. Seahawks are going to get the other guy.
Yep.
Or the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So those 3 picks right now, and I was at the 3rd, 4th, and 6th pick, they're going to pick up those 2 guys. So I don't even know if number 10 pick and number 30 pick is enough.
You're very likely right. The only way it doesn't happen is if there's trades for quarterback hungry teams to get up a little bit and grab like Levis or so that could jumble things up a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, I think we have it, Gunner.
Here we go. This make my day. Here we go.
My embarrassing. I can't. This is so bad. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. All right.
Hold on, man. Come on, man. Let that play again, man.
Oh my God. You know what the best, my favorite part? The dog bowl and the dog dish are in the shot. I didn't even move the dog bowl and dog dish.
Hold on. Right. I can just see your daughter right now.
Oh, she is so embarrassed. She was taking the video.
Right here.
Like, you missed. She's like, you're not allowed to post that. I said, yes, I am.
Wait, watch this. Rob almost slips right here. Watch this. Watch this.
Did I almost go down? What? Yeah, I did. See, here's a PSA to people. When you're doing the gritty on hardwood floors, put sneaks on, kids. All right? Or your dancing shoes. All right. You're welcome on this Monday. I got to imagine Jalen and Nicole Lynn were doing a little gritty after this money came in. That's for sure.
Hey, Tone, you just got to sneak that in throughout the show today.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yes.
Just pop it up every now.
Oh,
hey,
my
John
God.
Dickerson, man, you're a pain in the butt, bro, but you funny, man.
I love it. White chocolate. Yes, thank you, Ken. I appreciate it.
He's
That's
under,
me.
what is it, at Paul Arch 65, and it says, Real D Gun, Barry Brooks. Here's Rob Ellis after hearing the Hurts deal and remembering the Phillies win yesterday. Man,
here's the best.
My Monday.
That was the gritty? What? Yes, I think it kind of was. Yes. Oh my God, I'm getting killed here. Yes, you're drunk. I actually was sober. I wish I was drunk. I'd have an excuse.
Meanwhile, his daughter's gone into hiding.
Yes, she's that's why she's going away to college. All right, let's get a quickie in. Let's keep going with Hurts. We'll keep going with Hurts, and we'll explore this 10 and 30 and move up a little bit more when we come back. Obviously, the Bijan stuff is very hot as well, so we'll dig into all that. So don't go anywhere.
Jason Bennett, that was the drunkie. That wasn't the gritty. That was the drunkie.
It's true. It's true. Here, I get killed here. What was that? What are we doing here? Yeah, I know. I know.
Look, she just said, no, let's keep going with the dancing.
Look. That Greedo, look, the Ellie. That's called the Ellie.
I have as much rhythm as a broken dishwasher. Oh my God. That's awesome.
Hey, Forrest Hill said that should be the new show intro.
Oh my God.
Look, Cordelia Malik
we love
says,
you, man. We love you, bro.
Yeah, Cordelia Malik says white chocolate.
Oh my God.
Man. Now, that's the way you start off a week, Jack.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's not go anywhere. We'll get a quickie in, and we'll keep talking about the Jalen Hurts thing and the Eagles and what you do here. Yes, I am under attack, Captain Tony. Yes. All right, let's get a quickie in. We'll come back. Derek Barrett, Rob. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, let's talk about Bravo Pizza of Havertown. It's about that time, right? You got the little hunger pains. I hear you. Bravo Pizza of Havertown has joined the family, and we are thrilled. They've been family-owned since 1985. I've been going there since I was a little kid. You got Alex and the crew. I popped in Friday, got a pizza. We're talking sports. It was absolutely awesome. They're there 7 days a week. The food is always fresh, always freshly made. And they offer 20 different styles of pizza. They have slices to go. The other thing is, you call up and you have a request for a certain style of pizza. It's called the You Name It, They'll Make It. That's right. They specialize pizza your way. And they don't just do pizza. It's fresh pasta. It's sandwiches. It's wraps. It's wings. It's salads. Anything that you could want, they are there for you. Bravo Pizza is fully committed to the community. They have fundraisers for charities, schools, little leagues, where the proceeds go to those organizations. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook for daily specials and promotions at the Bravo Pizza of Havertown. The address, 1305 Westchester Pike, Manoa Shopping Center in Havertown, Pennsylvania. That's 1305 Westchester Pike, Manoa Shopping Center, Havertown. Here's the number to give them a call, 610-446-3810,